From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
Welcome back to The Horse's Mouth Movers and Shakers, where we highlight those who are making an impact here in Jacksonville. I'm Morgan Allen, joined by my co-host David Ramos with Stretch Lab here in Jax. How are you?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Great. We have a special guest here today.
Yes, we do.
Not only is he a client of Stretch Lab, but he's also an incredible visionary in the medical space and the dialysis space. We have Dr. Shannon Beardsley with Health Data Works.
Hi.
Great. Thank you for being here.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Likewise. Nice to meet you.
So give us the rundown. Tell us a little bit about Health Data Works.
Sure. So Health Data Works is a company that we started a couple years ago, my partners and I. And basically, we're trying to solve a problem in the dialysis space. So dialysis patients have to have their blood cleaned through artificial kidneys, and they go 3 times a week for life. It's their lifeline. They have to have that cleaned, otherwise they have major problems. And one of the things that involves is puncturing the patient's blood system in some way. And usually that's through a synthetic graft material that's sewn between the artery and vein, or connecting the artery and vein and letting the vein dilate to the size that it can be palpated. And once that is in the right state, they come in for dialysis 3 times a week. They have 2 very large needles placed into the access in order to allow the blood to come out of the patient, to go into the machine in the artificial kidney and clean it, and then put it back into the patient. And this takes about 4 to 5 hours, 3 times a week. And so what we identified was I deal with the complications with my normal day job when they clot off, or they're not able to access it, or you have a infiltration where you have blood escaping into the soft tissues around it. They come to see me to have it repaired. And my partners and I kind of got frustrated with dealing with the repairs. So we really wanted to get into the dialysis center. Is there something we can do to allow them to do a better job? And that was kind of gave the impetus for the birth of Veristra, which is kind of like a Google Maps for the dialysis access. And so what we do is we keep a record of all the cannulation points. We identify on an image where the hazards are, and that's available to the technician when they're in the chair side with the patient. Right before they put the needles in, they can actually see that information, whereas right now there's no way to track it at all. It's not tracked.
You gave us a great analogy before about the cork board. Why don't you explain a little bit in the simplified version?
Sure. So if you imagine you have a synthetic tube, it's usually like Gore-Tex, a tube of Gore-Tex in the patient's arm under the skin, connecting the artery to vein. It can be palpated, and that's what you put the needles in. So if you had a cork board and you were putting a needle in the cork board, putting the same node in one spot over time, you know that cork's going to start to fall out. Pretty soon the pin's not going to stick. However, if you were to take that needle and the push pin and evenly distribute it through that entire cork board, the cork board will last a lifetime, right? So it's kind of the same principle. If you keep puncturing these Gore-Tex grafts or the native vein with a large needle multiple times a week for the patient's life, that area is going to start to have problems. It'll either scar, stenose, or may become aneurysmal as you weaken the wall and the blood pressure starts to cause it to dilate. And all of those leads to turbulent flow, clot forming along the walls, scarring, and the patient eventually will go in for dialysis and it'll be clotted off. They won't be able to get dialysis. They have to go to the ER to have it fixed. And so that is what we're trying to do, is really give them a tool that allows the technician who has no visibility into what's under the skin to be able to keep track of what they're doing, be able to rotate the sites evenly, and prolong the life of that patient's access.
Is there anything like that on the market today?
No, this is an area that's been completely overlooked. There are some different ways to do it. Sometimes patients will draw on their skin, like if there's an area that's difficult, they might use a marker. Some patients may take a picture of the access with their phone and scribble some stuff on it. There might be someone might draw a sketch, like a little cartoon sketch of the patient's arm and say, hey, this is an area that's difficult. But there's no real system, no process for recording the cannulation points. And so what we've done is we've created that process where you have a color-coded cannulation points that are demonstrated. We also keep a running record up to 12 months where you can show like a density map of the cannulation. So areas that are overutilized will show as red. It's very easy visually to see with just looking at it very quickly. You can see areas that are red that are being overutilized before there's an aneurysm, before there's skin breakdown or scarring. It's well before that, so you can correct the behavior and prevent that from happening. And so most patients go in, maybe one time a year with some sort of major intervention that needs to be done. And that's just accepted. That's accepted that this is what happens. It doesn't have to be accepted that way. We can avoid that.
Wow, this is really incredible. You are on the front lines of this cutting edge technology that's going to reshape the kidney dialysis industry. So tell us, what is the process like? How do you roll out a software like this?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
big question.
I'm a physician. I'm not a software developer. First of all, this company should fail right from the start. I'll tell you that, because most health tech companies, software companies, are started by software coders. I had more of a vision and hired a team to work with me. So it's a long process getting the right team together, starting to build the actual software component itself. There's a lot of regulatory hurdles with the FDA and CMS. And so we have to navigate all those hurdles as well. And then it's funding as well. We're always in a fundraising state, really raising enough money to get to the next milestones so that we can unlock more value and then go back to our investors or other investors and kind of show them that value. And so I put together a really good team. I have a vascular surgeon, Dr. Aaron Moore, who's on my team. We have our chief growth officer, Jamie Hawk. We have a good software team, chief technology officer and development team that works with that. And so it's really connections. It's getting the right connections, people in the industry, people who have been in this space for a long time who could unlock other doors for us as we go through, because there's a political component as well. There's a lot of infighting between the various dialysis companies that have market share. And so we have to navigate all of that. And it's definitely a learning process. Yeah.
Wow. Well, absolutely love what you're doing. It is extremely broader than my wheelhouse of knowledge and understanding about the medical space, but I feel like I've learned a lot. So thank you for sharing, and thank you for what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You said locally there's there are places where you can that are using the software, right? Local
so we are in discussions with the largest nonprofit dialysis group locally. I won't name their name right now because we're still in negotiations with them, but we are working towards rolling out in several centers in Jacksonville, which is great for us because we have some centers using it already out of this area, but to be able to kind of give them white glove service for their onboarding and whatnot and support will be very valuable to us. But yeah, we hope to show them the value as well and kind of expand within their organization. They take a leadership role in putting the patient first rather than the dollar. And so we're very excited to be partnering with them. Yeah.
Amazing. And if people want to find more information about Health Data Works, how can they do so?
We have a website, healthdataworks.com. There's some basic information there and a couple videos. Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Shannon, thank you so much for coming on the show and for sharing.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yes. And David, thank you as always.
Yeah, my pleasure. Welcome. And you're a member, so we'll see you soon for a stretch.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. All right.
Yeah, and viewers, thank you for tuning in to another episode. If you want more information, you can check down below underneath this video. We have Dr. Shannon's info right there, along with so many other amazing profiles. And we will see you in the next episode of the Horse's Mouth Movers and Shakers.